Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media just now. We are sports, we are lifestyle, we are everything in between. It was a pretty awesome finish to last week's tournament. Unfortunately, it wasn't all that exciting for one Tommy Fleetwood. Captain America took it home. We're moving on. We're on to the Detroit Rock City, Motor City. It's going to be fun. Lots of scoring, lots of birdies, maybe some excitement on the course. Pretty decent field. We're going to hit it right after the drop here. Oh, look who it is. I got to switch these around here again. Look at that. Oh, yeah. You don't want to be a Bo, trust me.
Either way, I'm just happy to be
Although we did have an arborist come out and trim up some of our overgrown cypress trees that belong to our neighbors. They were leaning on our pergola, dropping a bunch of nuts into the pool and pool equipment, and squirrels were dropping stuff everywhere. Shout out to Memphis, Tennessee, West Tennessee. We are syndicated on that radio station. We love West Tennessee. Conor, how are we doing today? Did you feel good about that illustrious first victory for Tommy Fleetwood? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I was watching that on pins and needles, just knowing that when he inevitably fell off, I was going to have to hear it from you all night. So,
hey, I was actually pulling from him. I texted you that morning that I was actually pulling for Tommy because I didn't have a dog in the fight. My guys all sucked last week. Unfortunately, we have weeks like that. Not very often. This show is generally really good at winning money at betting golf, which is why you're all here in the first place.
Yeah, no, it was a heartbreaker, man. And I know we'll talk about it more, but it's too bad. He'll get one.
He will. Did you have anything going other than a little Tommy Fleetwood love, maybe some Captain America? I know my co-host on the Betting Pros podcast, Pat Fitzmaurice, had himself a nice 35-1 Keegan Bradley ticket, and he also used him in the one and done against me for the tune of 3.6 milli. That one hurt. I had a $4 million lead on the season, and it went. Yeah, it was a good win for him.
I was on Keegan, I was on Tommy, as I have been. I was on Harris English of all people, and I was all over Jason Day. So I did okay. I would have been a lot happier.
You had it smothered, as they say.
Yeah, no, it was a good week. The analytics didn't lie. I think I got the model right last week.
And I just ignored my model and went with my gut, which didn't turn out too well. But we're on to Detroit, Michigan. That's where it's at, right? Detroit's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's one of the most forgettable courses. But yeah,
we'll talk about that too. Are you drinking anything? I got a nice 1 liter bottle of Kirkland Signature Alkaline Water, the crispiest, best water in the world.
I am drinking water, fully loaded with some grape Mio. So I also am sans alcohol tonight.
Oh, I am so far, but that's only because this last weekend there were some indulgences made.
Yeah, I played back-to-back scrambles. I played one on Friday, 100-degree heat, finished third.
You're not allowed to be sober in a scramble either.
No, absolutely not. And then we played another one on Saturday, 100, and it was even hotter, and same result. Finished third in both of them. So I had a good weekend.
I had the best round since 2009, 10, 11. Somewhere in there was the last time I broke 75 in a round, regardless of par. I did it on my par 67 Muni course, which is a whole whopping 5,000 yards. But I started off with 2 hours of sleep, woke up 6:45 a.m. tee time, and started first 5 holes, 4 bogeys. And so I was thinking very quickly on that I might not be keeping score the entire round because it was not. I was feeling terrible. I was hungover. I was not well rested, and my playing partners were giving me lots of grief. And then I started making really good shots, and I feel like I either blacked out or I just snapped because on the back nine I made 3 birdies. I was even par going into the 18th hole, lipped out a par putt that would have been the most miraculous par ever. I was just so unconscious with the short game, and I hit so many good approach shots with wedge in hand that I must have blacked out, because after that 5 over start, I was 4 over to start, and I was even par the rest of the round. I ended up with a 4 over 71. And so even for me, that's really good. Like, I feel, especially for me, that's really good because my handicap went from 11.6 to 9.8 in one round. That's good eating right there.
I still think that we got to get people to start signing your scorecards, but no,
that's fine.
I was probably the opposite of you. My driver was on fire Friday and Saturday. Like every shot every shape, everything I wanted to do, I was all over the fairways. It was the wedge game that let me down, if anything, and had made a putter switch. So putter was better, still not great, but
Here I am with a 20-year-old putter with its 7th grip. It's like when you have a bunch of pets that are the same breed of dog, then you just keep naming it the same name and just add a number at the end. That's what I feel like I'm on like grip 6 or 7 with this old Odyssey putter from 2004 or 5. I don't even remember when I bought it, but I won't make a putter switch, but I will upgrade my wedges so the grooves are nice and clean. And then, for me, it's just about just focusing. And I think that was the part that I did well with, was once I started off so terribly, the pressure was off. I was like, I'm not even going to keep scoreless this round. And then I made it. I almost made a hole in one on the 4th or 5th hole. It's par 3, hit the perfect club, rolled it right next to the hole, made birdie. And I was like, okay, something's here. And I think it was just taking the pressure off myself, where it's not about the result. It's about the execution and having a good time out there. And I played great the rest of the day. So,
yeah, the less I care, the better I play. I mean, that's
every time. Every time. And it's funny how that works.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Every time I try and go away from Odyssey, I go right back to it. So I'm not a sponsor yet, but yeah, Odyssey is the choice of the 19th hole.
Yeah, if Odyssey has a newer version of the exact same putter I have, I'm interested. All right, what do you say we jump into the news? There's a few things to cover, including an epic collapse and a great victory for Team America. And an Aussie named Lee took home a major. Right off the top, oh my goodness, 71 holes of glorious, actually we should say 54 holes of glorious golf for Tommy Fleetwood. 3-shot lead heading into Sunday, and the only golfer in the final 4 groups to not break par on Sunday at the Travelers. Final round, 72, 2 over, and an epic collapse on the 72nd hole. 1-shot lead, 2-shot swing. Tommy Fleetwood, what you doing, man? First win was in the bag. Even Rory thought he had it in the bag in his post-round interview, and splits the fairway, 300-yard drive right down the pipe. Has what should have been a 9-iron in from 138. That's a 9-iron for just about all of us, especially with a little bit of a hurt crosswind. Front pin where it's better to be a little long than a little short. And he was a whole club short. Imagine that. Didn't have a very difficult chip to that front right hole location. Still hit a very poor chip. Happened to be a couple inches on the exact same line as Keegan Bradley, who had a birdie putt from 6.5 feet for the win, or for he thought was going to be to force a playoff. And Tommy gave him the line. He also hit a dead center putt when it should have been an outside left putt. He also hit a pitch mark on the way there that kicked it even further right. Ultimate choke job. What's your real reaction to Sunday at the Travelers with one fairway Jesus, Tommy Fleetwood?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the ultimate jinx. Turned it on Sunday morning, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Tommy's got this in the bag. I'm already victory lapping in my head all the things I'm going to say to you.
And 3 holes in, you were like, oh well.
And then you're just like, it's just my heart breaks for the guy. Like what do you say? I mean, he should have had it locked down.
I have a theory that the only reason we're heartbroken for the guy is because he's such a great guy. Like if he was a turd, like if it was Wyndham Clark collapsing on Sunday, or Brian Harmon, or a number of other golfers that we don't particularly care for as a person, we would be a lot less heartbroken. But because it's Tommy Fleetwood, who is class personified and one heck of a golfer, I mean, it's number 17 in the world rankings without a win, should tell you how great he is, but can't play not to lose, Tommy.
Yeah, and you just look at like that. The final hole is just a demonstration of that. Like he just looked out of sorts. And then to have a relatively simple putt. I mean, anybody looking at that putt knew about what it was going to do. And then to not clean up your line and hit the pitch mark, it's just, I mean,
it was a mess. It was a mess.
Somebody throw a net over him. I mean, you're just cringing for him the whole way.
I had something else. I was going to throw a tarp over him because he did.
I don't know. He'll
draw a chalk outline around that poor Brit.
He's just beside himself standing on the green. There's a shot of Keegan making that putt over Tommy's shoulder, and Tommy's just, head and hands.
He knew it as soon as he hit that. As soon as he picked pitching, as soon as he threw the 9-iron back in the bag and pulled pitching wedge, that was it. That was his fate was sealed because he put all the pressure back on himself. Keegan piped his drive too, and Tommy had that approach shot. If Tommy stuffs that approach, then Keegan is under all the pressure because he has to make birdie either way, and now he has to stuff it inside of Tommy to give himself a realistic chance of forcing a playoff. When Tommy hit it short of the green, that's when Keegan got excited. And that's when he realized, and we heard it in the conversation between he and his caddy, was that it was a perfect number for him. He was 10 yards shorter. He had a little bit longer drive. He had an actual full pitching wedge and stuffed it in nice and close. And now Tommy's, we're in match play at that point. Like once they both hit their drives, it's match play. And Tommy had the leg up until he put the 9-iron back in the bag. And that was it. As soon as he hit that approach shot, I was like, Keegan's got this. And then who was it?
Just hit a little Henley 9.
Henley chipped in. So even if Keegan missed it, we were having a 3-way playoff.
I still don't know why Tommy didn't hit, like I said, like a little sawed off 9 at it. I mean, everything's set up for that shot.
He could have been a little long there and had a little sweeper putt, but it was a heck of a lot better than a 30-yard chip shot trying to read the contour of the green under all that pressure that you just put on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, he was collapsing long before that, but
he was. I mean, he had a terrible round and it just kind of culminated on that last hole. Speaking of winning, my captain. Keegan Bradley is now 8th in the Ryder Cup point standing, which means that another high finish, and he doesn't even have to decide whether or not he's a playing captain. He could automatically qualify on points to be a playing captain. And then it's just like, okay, now who else is on the team? Because we're pretty well set. Keegan should be on this team regardless. And the only reason we're talking about him maybe not playing is because he is the captain. Let him play. Let him be captain. It's not that hard of a job. Like, really, it's just
they got to let him play. Or he's got to let himself play, I guess is a better way to put it. But
especially if he's playing like this. His final round was awesome because even when he made mistakes, he kept his foot on the gas. And that's why he won, is because he kept his foot on the gas. He made aggressive plays. He was nails off the tee. His approach game was spotty, but when he hit good approach shots, it meant something because he was cashing in on the greens like no other. And that's the difference in his game this year is, can he make putts? Can Keegan Bradley make putts? And this, in the Travelers, for the second time in 3 years now, he made the putts to cash in on that great ball striking that he's always had. I love Keegan Bradley. I love his fire. And when a guy like that pulls it out on the very last hole of the tournament with absolute clutch performance on that approach shot was gorgeous. As soon as he got that yardage from his caddy and he said perfect, I was like, oh, he's stuffing this in.
Yeah, dude, I love everything about Keegan. Hey, it sucks for Tommy, but I'm pumped that Keegan won it, and he did. To your point, had the putter rolling. Round 2 was the only thing that was a little dicey. I mean, still 2 under, but I mean, it's just
round 2 is with the wind up, and so the scoring was down overall because of Friday's round with the wind gusting. The wind was a little swirly on Sunday, but there were good scores out there. On Friday was a little tougher, and so him holding his own with an under par round was pretty good to hold serve there. Tommy going low on Saturday, it really vaulted him into a good position, but as we know, he squandered that. And Keegan Bradley and Scotty and Rory and all those guys, Harris English, they all shot 65 on Sunday to catch up, and they had no business even being close to contention, with Tommy starting that day with 3 shots lead ahead of everybody. But his opening 4 holes, what was he, 3 over? So instantly everybody was within 5 shots, including the number 1 and number 2 golfers in the world. And in the end, Keegan Bradley, man, he had the home crowd behind him there in New England. I mean, it was rowdy. That's it's the second most attended PGA Tour event. It's a really nice golf course. Everybody's fired up for Keegan, and although they weren't rooting against Tommy Fleetwood to win it, they definitely weren't rooting for him.
Well, and to your point too, I mean, it's a good event. It's a annual celebration. It's always a great crowd. I mean, yeah. All in all, I'd say it's a good event. I think there were a lot of people that were right there in contention that we've been on too. So, JT, I think if you take away the 3rd round, JT was right there again. And you starting to see some guys like, Denny's been playing really well. He was right up there in the top. Rory looked like he was bouncing back a little bit, which was good to see. Scotty's starting to look a little more human.
Still top 6.
But
his worst performance in 2 months is a tie for 6th.
But no, I mean, yeah, I super excited about Keegan. I'd love to see him get another high finish, and like we said, I'd love to see him be the player captain, especially after last go around where arguably he was fairly well snubbed for Justin Thomas, as I recall.
It was a terrible snub, and that was because Zach Johnson, another guy, I don't care if he collapses and loses a 3-shot Sunday lead, was the captain that time around. And ironically, the United States got absolutely smashed by Europe in that Ryder Cup. They probably could have used a fiery American player who was actually playing well last season, unlike JT, on the team. Might not have made a difference, but it wasn't going to hurt.
100%.
All right. We have a 3rd major for Minwoo Lee's older, more decorated sibling, Minjee Lee. Congratulations, winning the very tough LPGA championship in Texas at the Frisco complex. They played that one course that everybody calls boring. It's the same tee shot on every hole, very poorly designed golf course, and it was windy as all get up all week long. And Minjee shoots 2 over in the final round to finish as one of only 3 women under par for the tournament. Very good performance, even with 2 over. She outlasted the rest of the field, including Nelly Korda, who shot 4 over on Sunday to fall out of it. What a win! That course looked really tough. It was wide open, but it was fast, and the wind was playing havoc. You don't see a lot of tough tracks on the LPGA Tour, but overall, it was pretty entertaining. I caught a lot of it. Minjee's just got such a great game. Like she's like Min Woo if Min Woo was an incredible putter and had better approach game. Like they're both
putt.
Yeah, if Min Woo could putt, he might have 3 majors like his big sister.
Yeah, I didn't catch as much as you did. I mean, like I said, I was playing golf most of the weekend, but God, it seemed like every time that they'd cut to Minjee, she was rolling something in. I mean, just like pure putting stroke. And, I think on Sunday shooting 2 over, I mean, just did what she had to do, just held it together. And, had
survival. It was survival.
Couple of low scores on Sunday too. One Essen, it was 4 under. Kim was 4 under. So
they came from way back to finish top 5 and under par. But a 3-shot victory, that's in a major, that's substantial. 3-shot lead, 3-shot win, 4 under par for the tournament. The next 2 were tied at 1 under par, and there was nobody else under par. That's a tough layout with the Texas winds swirling and blowing hard. And we saw the short game for Nelly Korda kind of abandon her in that final round where she was leaving chips short. She was chipping it over the green. And as good of a ball striker as Nelly is, she couldn't survive not being able to chip that well in the wind because it was ugly. I was out there. I was like, I've played in these conditions before, and it does not look fun at all. You better have chapstick out there. Like you could just see their lips cracking as they're playing.
I can relate. Like I said, Friday, 100-degree weather and like 30-mile-an-hour winds. So I was in basically an oven.
All right. What do you say we wax poetic about Detroit Golf Club?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I actually love the city of Detroit, but your golf course, man, needs to do a better job of making it tougher on these guys. I want some carnage. I don't want 26 under. Well, we have reached Caddie Notes, Detroit Rock City. Conor, take it away.
Yeah, the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Detroit Golf Club in Michigan, as we established earlier. Par 72, 7,370 yards. Fairways are a combination of bent and POA. Greens are bent POA as well. I think this is a pretty uninspiring track, to be perfectly honest. It should be a bit of a birdie fest. It's fairways are pretty darn wide. I think they rate inside the top 5 easiest fairways to hit on tour every year. They're also generally kept relatively soft, receptive. You don't get a lot of rollout on them. The rough is inconsequential as well.
No lateral hazards.
The greens, even though they're small, like I said, they keep this place pretty receptive. And on top of that, there's going to be some moisture in the forecast Wednesday and Thursday. So the greens should be pretty easy to hold. I would say there's a bit of a narrative that bombers have an advantage here. I don't know that I fully buy that. You can get guys that get really solid wedge play. And especially putting, there's been a couple of guys that just fully rode the putter to victory here. So, I really like bombers, but I don't think it's a necessity. I think as long as you got good iron play, make all your putts, keep up with the birdies, you should have a pretty decent week.
You don't need shoes to run a marathon, but it does help.
It's a basic Parkland style golf course with like little to no defense on it. And we're going to have nice weather. I mean, this place, they should tear this place apart.
Yeah, it's going to be lots and lots of birdies. So would you say that birdie or better percentage is important this week?
I would. I also really like guys, that stat that I always like to lean on with the opportunities gained. I like a lot. If you're playing DraftKings, DK points scored would be definitely something I would weight. You need guys that score a lot of points. But yeah, overall, I looked at driving distance. I looked at some approach buckets. Putting, like I said, was a bit of a differentiator for me when I was going between a couple of guys. Bo made the call out. Birdie or better rate is super important here, but there's not a whole lot of tricks, man.
Approach,
golf or a lot of birdies.
Yeah, proximity under 150 yards. A lot of these holes are very similar in length and layout. Par 5 scoring, obviously, it's going to be important to score a lot of birdies, lots of birdies or better. And so you can keep up. Like, par is a terrible score on this golf course. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't even see a lot of pars when you look at the course. I mean, it's just like you're going to get pars, obviously, but you're going to have birdie looks on almost everything. The only hole that's even really kind of maybe a challenge is the 635-yard fourth hole, which, a very long par 5. But
still a par 5.
Outside of that, I mean, these are like it's a pretty mundane layout. It's just kind of yeah, it's gonna be a score fest. No carnage this week, Bo.
No carnage, much to my chagrin. There is a prototype here. Obviously, longer hitters do have somewhat of an advantage, but if you have everything else here, like Conor said, it's not the end all be all. It's just this is one of the more bomb and gouge exploitable courses, which I think people kind of correlate. There's no causation there. It's like if you have the bomb to gouge this course, you can, and if you don't necessarily need it. It's still a birdie maker's course, whether you're down there 350 yards in the rough or 280 in the fairway. You're still going to get lots of birdie looks. It's all about putting and cashing them in. And so I am also looking at good putters, people who can putt just in general, not just hot putters, but the guys who are generally good at putting. Does that sound right? Yeah,
that does sound right. I mean,
well,
yeah, it's again, it's just you want to make it sound tougher than it is, but it's just not. It's not going to be tough. There's play good golf.
Well, without further ado, let's bet on some golf and twirl some clubs. DraftKings Sportsbook. You can use whatever books you want. We're using DraftKings because it's right here on my screen. No Scotty, no Rory, no Xander. We have Collin Morikawa as the betting favorite at plus 1,200, followed by a few other guys we're pretty familiar with. This is not a top-heavy field, but it is a pretty deep field. There are some really good names in this field that very much so have a chance to win here at, honestly, when you have your betting favorite at double-digit odds, it gets a little exciting. And you got to be a little careful at managing your bankroll, especially when there's a few short weeks until the final major of the year, as well as the FedEx Cup playoffs next in August. So where do we start here? We have Morikawa at 12. We have Cantlay at 16. We got defending last week's champion Keegan Bradley at 18-1. And we got Ben Griffin at 22-1. We'll talk about the next tier after that because it has some even funner names to look at. But between those four, is there anybody there that you actually want to spend money on?
I could be talked into.
You hesitated, so that's a no. And you can be talked into who?
I could be talked into Keegan. I could be talked into Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin's just been playing really good golf. That's a pretty short number for him, in my opinion. Yeah. But that would probably be the one I would gravitate towards is Ben Griffin, just well-rounded.
He is. He is 16.
Playing good.
Yeah, his short iron approach game concerns me. That's going to make a difference here. Par 5 scoring is middle of the pack. Driving distance, middle of the pack, a little bit above middle of the pack. Off the tee is a little squirrely, which doesn't really hurt him here, but he does make a lot of birdies. So that's something to look at. And for me, it's just the number. It's 22 is not inspiring. I like other guys that are longer than that. at the same, like if I'm handicapping, I'm putting Griffin closer to 25 or 30, and I'm putting some of the guys that are at 30, 35 in his range. So I'm not on Griffin or anybody at the top of the board. I just want to spend my money a little more wisely this week, and I'm not really gung ho about any of these guys in the top 4.
Yeah, I'm not kicking down the door to bet them. But I will say we don't talk about it a ton anymore. But Ben Griffin, as far as DK is concerned, over the last 24 rounds rather, he's the number 1 DK point scorer in the field. And at 9,800, I think people are going to hesitate to pull the trigger on him. So I think it's a pretty nice play in DFS.
That's a good point. So going down further, the flavor of the week is obviously going to be Cam Young, who has great history here because it's the one place where you can just hit the ball really far, hit some decent iron shots, and make maybe a quarter of your putts and win a tournament. He's never won any tournament ever. He's like Tommy Fleetwood without the DP World Tour success. It's Cam Young, according to all the other experts I've been listening to, which aren't many, is the odds-on favorite to win this at plus 2,800. No thanks. I mean, this is, for me, you're going to tell me Cam Young's probably going to win this thing, but I just don't see it.
So I'm not going to tell you Cam Young's going to probably win this thing, but I have been on Cam Young for about 2-3 weeks now, and he's close. I mean, he's been close.
Last week he wasn't.
Yeah, but what he did do last week that I think is good is he really had the putter going still. So he gained 3.4 strokes putting last week, which he's on a bit of a streak with the putter. And we kind of mentioned earlier that like a bomber who can putt, if he keeps the putter rolling, I could see it. I think it's short for him. I'm not going to probably bet it, but he'll be in a couple lineups on DFS.
Every outright line on Cam Young is a short line for Cam Young because career to date betting Cam Young outright has paid $0.00 American.
Yeah, but and more so like the relative value, like we're only maybe 2 weeks removed from Cam Young being 100 to 1, and so like I mean this is
juiced. It's very inflated.
And, people are gravitating towards him because he's showing signs of life, which is making the numbers slide even more. So, again, I don't love him. I don't love him as an outright.
Tie for 52nd at the Travelers. Really inspiring. It really gets me going.
I'm telling you. So you got a bad taste for Cam Young, much like you do with Tommy Fleetwood sometimes. But I am saying, like, there's signs of life there. Like, Cam Young, what really did him in at the Travelers was the off the tee game, which is actually the most consistent part of his game. So the fact that went away last week, I think is really what kind of kept him so far out. Yeah.
And I think I could be talked into a top 5 Cam bet because it's plus 500 right now. That's a decent bet. I can see him making the top 5. I don't think he has the mental game to win a tournament on the PGA Tour. Not just from talent perspective, he's pretty good. Like I enjoy watching him play, but when he gets under pressure, he is a lot like Tommy Fleetwood, where he completely collapses, he crumbles, he folds, especially when stress is put on his putting, which it can't afford any stress. He's a terrible putter by and large, and he played well last week putting because there was no pressure on him to make putts. He was, again, like we were saying about our own golf games, is Cam Young he's a prisoner of the moment when it comes down to final rounds or just being in contention in general. Is I don't see him winning tournaments even in a field like this. But a top 5 plus 500, I could be convinced. The guy I'm actually starting my card with is at 30 to 1, and it's a guy who has now put together 7 consecutive top 20 finishes and even spent some time in the medical tent on Saturday getting an IV. That's Englishman Harry Hall, who is lights out as a putter, like one of the best putters on the planet, and not the longest hitter, but he's middle of the pack distance wise. Absolutely nails from inside the 150 mark. Birdie making machine. 3rd in birdies are better gained than mine, and 10th on approach. It seems like the guy I want to bet. 30 to 1 for a guy who's been so consistently good this season, who has won on the PGA Tour before. I like Harry Hall.
Yeah, I love Harry Hall. No argument from me. I've got him on my card too. And when you look at the birdies, like the birdie making prowess that he has, I mean,
So good.
so good. And then to your point with the putting, I mean, just third in the field for putting, sixth in the field for 3-putt avoidance. I have him a little lower down the chain on 125 to 150 yard proximity. Hasn't been playing super great from that range. But when you get him into that 100 to 125 yard range, jumps all the way up to 14th in my modeling. So third overall, I like the odds on him. And to your point, this is a guy that has won before. Wouldn't take a whole lot for him to fire off a whole ton of birdies and take this thing down. So.
And what we don't talk about with Harry Hall is he's one of the most aggressive players on tour. Like he's like the Siwoo Kim of England, where he's out there hitting every shot right at the pin, and for better or worse. And this is the kind of golf course where that really does work, because if he's offline or he hits a bad shot, it doesn't hurt at all. Like you're not looking at bogey avoidance this week. You're looking at who can put themselves in the most chances to roll it in. And I know Harry Hall can roll it in with the best of them. Are we going to go right into the mid-range? Because that's all I got on the top tier.
That's pretty much the only thing that I'm 100% on in the top tier as well. So
same. All right. Moving on. There's a couple guys at 40 to 1 I really like, and I know both of us are in complete unison on Luke Clanton. 40 to 1 for Luke Clanton in this field on this golf course, where he, in his debut last year as a 20-year-old, finished top 10. Love it. I love it. This guy is the one nuclear option, the full ladder pick for me. Luke Clanton, 40 to 1. He could break the scoring record this week, which I think is 26 under par at Detroit Golf Club. I think he could be the 28 under guy if he gets hot. This is the guy who really, if you get him in position off the tee, he's 10th. He's number 2 in overall ball striking. He's number 5 on approach. Seems really good. 21st in putting. Oh my goodness. What does that make him? Numero uno in birdie or better rate in this entire field. I don't care that he's young. I don't care that he was a college student a few months ago. Luke Clanton is a monster pick in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that has been holding him back so far has been his ability to keep it in the fairway. And that's going to be a lot less of a problem here.
A lot less. I mean, the fact that he's top 10 in strokes gained off a tee with his wayward ways is really impressive.
Well, and it's wild when you see him pop up in strokes gained off the tee, because when you look at like his fairway gain number, I mean, he's 99th in this field. Like, it's not good. Yeah. But he, to your point, he finds a way to, to get the birdies done. So I love Luke Clanton here. I'm with you. Do the full ladder on him. Then next guy I like in this range is somebody that's starting to really pop up, and that's Ricky Fowler, also at 40 to 1.
Ooh, baby. Is he getting hot? Is he getting hot?
I think he's getting hot, man. When you look at what he's done over the course of the last couple of months, I mean, he's got 15th at the Truist, 16th at the Charles Schwab, 7th at the Memorial. Even last week at the Travelers, finished in 36th. But what was interesting about that is it was his outlier performance. He lost strokes putting, lost strokes on approach, and was flat off the tee. It's the first time in about 3 months that he's lost or been flat in all 3 of those categories. And so if we get a little bounce back from him this week, just, couple strokes off the tee, which he's fully capable of, putter comes back into play a little bit. Ricky absolutely can make birdies when he gets hot. And so 40 to 1, I really like it, man. I think he's right on the cusp of getting back in the winner's circle. So
I'll give you a pushback on Ricky, because I thought he would be more in the 50 to 55 range, because his form, although better, has not been great. Like he hasn't put it all together at any point this season. He's been mostly together a few spots that you mentioned. I think 40 to 1 in this field is kind of a little short for me. I'm more on Clanton at the same number for sure. And so when I look at those two next to each other, I don't want to bet on the guy who I have a lot of question marks about, unless it's a guy who has the ability to go completely berserk in easy conditions. And I haven't seen that from Ricky in a long time. Ricky's a better grinder at this stage of his career than he is a go out and shoot 25 under guy. So I think I'd rather play Max Grazerman, a younger guy with a little more firepower than Ricky has at this point. If we're talking 2015 Ricky, absolutely. But we probably wouldn't have got him at 40-1 either.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you. He definitely can still go low. I mean, we've seen it
4 days for 4 days. I've seen him go low 1 or 2 days. I just haven't seen it this season in a tournament, like a full go.
No, I get the apprehension. Grazerman, I think I'm going to take a pass on him here. I've been just kind of blindly betting him almost every week, and I think I'm going to take a pass until
and for me, I saw him pop at top 10 in my model, and I'm starting to think that Max Grazerman might be the stat darling this year, because he's no worse than 65th in any metric that I measured, but he's no better than 9th in any of them either. And that happens to be in birdie or better rate, which I had the heaviest weighting. So I'm looking at a lot of good but not great, jack of all trades, master of none type of work here, which if you're Tommy Fleetwood just making top 20s and top 10s every week, it works. But if we're looking for real money betting on golf, you really shouldn't do that at 40-1. That's where I'm at there. I really like Clanton at 40, and I'm willing to just kind of skip down and flood the long shot market the rest of the way. Honestly, to be smart with your money betting in a in-between week with not a lot of fanfare, I think that's the best way to go about this week.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really only on a couple guys in that 40 range, and it's because I'm not on any of the favorites really. So it's Harry Hall, Luke Clinton, Ricky Fowler for me in that range, and then I'm more with you. I'm starting to get into that like 65 or deeper, and just spread out my shares that way.
All right, down to the long shots. We have Thorbjorn Olsen. Is that picture of Thorbjorn Olsen?
I think it is.
Where'd that come from?
We got to have a chat with Seth about that.
Well, I think I wrote Thor in the show sheet.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Thorbjornsen, not Thorbjorn Olsen. Very common mistake. But Michael Thorbjornsen, 75-1, is another ladder pick of mine, because not only is he healed up from his wrist injury from a month ago, but he's got somebody new on his bag, Connor. Connor, did you know who his new caddy was?
I don't know that I know.
Okay, so as you know, Collin Morikawa and JJ Jakovac split, and he got Griner on his bag. And for a while there, I didn't know who JJ was going to pop up with. Well, Stanford guy Michael Thorbjornsen has hired two-time national champion, two-time major champion caddy, JJ Jakovac, pride of Chico State. Shout out NorCal.
There it is.
I can't get enough Michael Thorbjornsen this week. His game fits his course. He can go super duper low with his talent.
Can he though? Can he though? I mean,
he's number 2 in my model in birdies or better gained. Number 2.
I don't know how you got.
Yeah, he's number 9 in the proximity buckets, number 6 in driving distance, number 12 on approach overall, and number 15 overall ball striking.
So I give it to you. He off the tee, he gains more strokes than almost anybody in the field, no doubt. But yeah, his putting's bad. His wedge game, not great. But I
filtered for bent grass, and his putting is a little bit lower than middle of the pack. Not great. I will give you that. But his ball striking is so good. And JJ Jakovac, if you can say one thing about JJ, is that he carried Collin Morikawa on the greens. He's one of the best greens readers I've ever seen. I've played with JJ Jakovac before. It was a long time ago, 2009, 10, somewhere in there. And that guy could read a green with his eyes closed. He is that good. And so getting a guy who maybe doesn't necessarily read these level of greens very well at this point in his career, being a young first-year player, having that experience on a course like this where there's not a lot of nuance to it, and we're just trying to go low, hit it deep, stick it close, make some putts. Michael Thorbjornsen is 75-1. All the risk is already baked in. New caddy, who dis?
So I'm going to hit you with one that I rarely have said over the duration of our friendship.
I'm excited for this one.
This was the shocker of the week in terms of my modeling, but Emiliano Grillo at 65-1.
He popped for me too.
And dude, I'm going to guess he popped for the same reasons. And what was shocking to me is actually how good he's been putting. Like Emiliano Grillo.
It is shocking because he's known for being atrocious.
So anyways, number one in approach over the last
shocker of the week. I had to throw it. Shocker of the week. Emiliano Grillo.
I mean, number one in approach over the last 24, number 5 in 100 to 125 yards, number 12 in 125 to 150. He's 7th in DK points scored. He's 13th in opportunities gained. He's going to have a ton of looks at birdie. And the way that he's been rolling the putter lately, I don't know, man. I'm ready to be hurt again, I guess.
Yeah, he was number 3 in my model, and all I did was click the bent grass greens filter, and he went hurtling to the ground. I don't know what it is about bent grass, but he does not like it because as soon as I uncheck bent grass, this guy shoots the top. He must just love Bermuda.
Yeah, I mean, it's past Palom and Bermuda for him, but what I do like is bent's right up there with Bermuda for him. It's the POA blend that's gonna give him fits a little bit, but yeah. He's again, it's Emiliano Grillo. He's been known to get absolutely lights out with approach shots, especially with the shorter irons. So he's dropping it 2 feet from the pin.
He's as long as they get off the tee.
Dropped it 2 feet from the pin. I mean, there's less margin for error. These aren't incredibly difficult greens. They're just small.
Yeah.
So I love stats. I'm going to trust the stats. And that's, he's getting some money from me this week, 65-1.
Yeah. All right. Have fun with that one. So I'm going to go to one of our co-favorites, a guy that I met at the Barracuda a couple of years ago, probably the Philippines. Rico Hoey, 80-1, very similar to Emiliano Grillo as a career kind of golfer. Maybe a little less top end success in majors like Grillo had at LACC a couple of years ago. But Rico Hoey's ball striking this year has been so good. Are we worried about his putting? Absolutely. He cannot putt. He's awful. Cannot putt. But off the tee and on approach, this guy's really good. And as far as making birdies, just make a quarter of them, man. Just give yourself 14 birdie opportunities around and make 6 of them. And you'll be right there, Rico. 80-1 for Rico Hoey. Seems like a really good line for him because he has all that upside.
Yeah, I agree. He's got the upside for sure. We were on him a few times. He's been close to doing some good stuff for us. I don't hate it at 80-1. My other guy, 80-1, Jake Knapp. We talk about anytime you can de-emphasize the accuracy off the tee.
Yes.
That's what this is. Jake Knapp can bomb it with the best of them. He's got a good wedge game. I wouldn't say anything stands out, but we've seen Knapp get really hot, make birdies in bunches. So in this mix of guys at that 70 to 80, I mean, he's a name that stands out to me as somebody who could absolutely get scorching hot and win.
So in this field, I have Knapp no worse than 74th, so middle of the pack, no worse than middle of the pack in any category. So that's actually one of the safer picks in that range right there. Can he win? Yeah, we've seen him do it. We cashed in on him at Mexico last year. So that was exactly what we're looking for is bomb and gouge. There's your bomb and gouge specialist right there in front of you.
Well, and he played well in Mexico again this year too. I mean, he finished 25th, but you look at the stats that he put up. He had an atypical approach week, and that's with these bomb and gouge types of courses. It's where Knapp tends to pop up on approach.
Yep.
And so I really like him here. I think 80-1 is. I think it's a value on Jake Knapp. He's got real win equity.
So I got two guys, number 1 and number 2 in my entire model, and they're both long shots. One of them I'm going to bet outright with a top 20. The other one I'm just going to bet a top 20 because there's no way ever he's going to win this tournament. The guy I'm betting outright is Patrick Fishburn, number 2 in my model. He is first in strokes gained off the tee, 4th in overall ball striking. He is 10th in birdies or better percentage in my model. Patrick Fishburn. I mentioned him a couple times this year. He's done okay. He's had some okay finishes. He's made some cuts. He's got a lot of upside. He is not the kind of guy you want on a course with any peril or danger at all because he doesn't avoid bogeys very well. But we're not considering that. So 120-1 for Patrick Fishburn, very young up and coming player. We will be hearing more about him in years to come. This season hasn't quite put it all together, but I have a feeling this is the kind of place where Patrick Fishburn, who I comp, it's a loose comp, but I do comp him to Tony Finau. Very similar style of player. And so Patrick Fishburn, remember that name. Even if he doesn't do it this week, I do think he has a chance to go low here and make some noise. Yeah, my top 20. Yeah.
150-1 is my Carl Billups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to get that in there before the 52-minute mark. This is exactly the type of spot that we need to hammer Billups.
Yes.
To de-emphasize the off the tee game. He's got good enough distance off the tee, obviously. He's much better from like 125 to 150 range. Approach has been pretty good lately. And he's a golfer that just anytime that he has the potential to get hot, he can go run away with this thing. So Billups has been a roller coaster for us, but we've cashed in on him already, and this could be another week.
Big one. You got the hat?
I got the hat.
Yeah, hat.
The hat is back, baby.
We love the hat.
Number 11, Bo.
All right. My number 11 is Jake Knapp.
I love that. My number 11 is Patrick Cantlay. Hate that.
Hey, I don't hate it. It's just at the odds he's at, it's ridiculous. Don't bet Patrick Cantlay at his odds unless you really think he's going to do something he hasn't done all year. Anyway, this has been the 19th hole, live as always on In Between Media. Like, subscribe, jingle the bell. You know where to find us. Next week, we get the John Deere Classic. Nothing runs like a deer.